press record. We're going to do a Super Saturday recap, which is going to be great because it's not just inspiration. There are actually really amazing tools that have come out. So I'm just going to start with that. I can say, at least in my opinion, in the last 9 years, all the Super Saturdays, all the tools, gosh, there's been so many. What was the name? Was it Lexi? There's been lots of tools and all of them have had some value to them and people have found ways to use them. But there's never been a tool to me that has been as powerful and can really unleash momentum like the Share Your Cart. Because even as a diamond, and anybody else on here that's a jewel, I still, tell me if you relate to this, get this feeling kind of like a knot in my stomach when someone's getting ready to go sign up. Because I'm like, baby Jesus, please don't let something happen that confuses them, because that is such a hindrance. Sometimes they just don't finish the sign up process. So as soon as I was there and I heard it, I had my diamond next to me, Jen, shock. I said, go make a cart and send it to me right now. So she made a cart, she sent it to me, and I went and I tried to check out. And I was like, that was the easiest thing ever. This is going to be the best. So we're going to practice that in a minute, but I want to share some takeaways. Sarah, I'm going to let you talk for a little bit. I'm not going to let you. Would you mind sharing anything you had that was amazing? But then I'm gonna, you see this? It looks really weird. And who was in Nashville? Was anyone in Nashville? Okay. Yeah, there's Darlene. So basically what I had people do is write down what's one thing you plan to do after Super Saturday, like in the next week, like something immediate, like an action item. So for me, it was tell my level ones about the value of Share Your Cart. And then the second one was, what did you feel like today was meant just for you? Kind of like someone had been listening to you or reading your diary and they said something that was like, oh my gosh. So I had them write it down and then I had them ball up the piece of paper that they had written it on and throw it at me. And then we had like this big pile of like papers. And so then I had like Alex Eldridge was there. I just had Sonia Dudley and Michelle Thomas. Everybody read a sheet from this list, but I took the rest of them I didn't get to read and I brought them home. So I'm going to read some of them while we're here on this call. But Sarah, tell me what you thought. You were there in person. You got to see Alex.
Yep, I was there in person. It was wonderful. Here's what I'm going to say. I think next year, if we have the corporate, like main one at corporate, I think we're just going to do our team retreat there, because I saw so many teams who did that. Where how amazing would it be to go to Super Saturday and then go back to your VRBO with your whole team and like strategize for the whole year? I know some people did that. I'm like, way to go, people, for being on top of that. Like I missed that boat, but hey, it's all good. So I'm already got like my brain is already, really going with that. But being at corporate, if you have not stepped foot into corporate headquarters, it needs to be on your list for 2023. I mean, just being there creates such a sense of belief and knowing, like, I don't know, like there's just something magical about corporate. So just being there was great for me. And getting people there, I think, is super, super important. So that was a wonderful thing for just being there with the Friday night. They had a food truck event with like picture spots and like, it was so amazing at corporate. And then of course, being in a room with hundreds of people, the energy and all that was wonderful. I would agree with you, Jennifer, as far as the way the content was laid out and how you had practical pieces and then training pieces. And then I thought that keynote speaker, Valerie, like blew it out of the water. You guys probably, I'm like, girl crushing on her because like she's that whole psychology of happiness and everything she talked about just was like straight to my heart. So I thought she was phenomenal. But I want to tell you, for me, the takeaway was when Melissa Eichenhorst got up there with Sarah and they just shared about this is what it takes to be successful in this business. And maybe you're, so she talked about the 4 pillars. And so Sarah was an incredible recruiter, like bringing on like 80 people a year, like recruit. And they couldn't figure out the retention piece. And so Melissa noticed that spark in her that she was passionately sharing, right? And was bringing all these new people on, but that there was a missing link. So the 4 pillars are recruiting, retention, duplication, and then leadership. But those 4 pillars are built on the foundation of mindset. So how many of you have beat yourself up over, I'm not a good enough recruiter, or my leadership skills are lacking, or whatever those pillars are? And we think we need, the last one was leadership. So recruiting, retention, duplication, and leadership. How many of us have tried to say, okay, I'm going to be a better recruiter, I'm going to be a better leader? You think about those pillars, but they're on the foundation of mindset. And if we never address mindset, then all four of those pillars, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be building your business on a firm foundation. So what they talked about specifically with that went into then what Valerie shared about our 4 core fears. What do you say to yourself about success? Like, it all was intertwined. But the practical takeaway for me was, it's a skill set and a mindset. And she saw in Sarah that she was a master recruiter, but knew that she needed help with the duplication piece moving into leadership. So that's, Sarah said, I'm coachable, I'm game. Let's put some time and effort into building in this way. So she went from recruiting all of the level 1s to how can I help develop silvers and golds? I think she said she developed 5 new gold leader legs in 1 quarter. I'm like, sign me up for that. Yes, please. Because I have not done that anytime, in the last 8 years. Now, the first 3 years, I will say that, we were getting up and running. So it was a really, really good aha moment for me, that maybe we're concentrating on the pillar that we have that strength. But if there's like this tug or this angst for why am I not reaching the big scary goals that I keep setting for myself, it may be as simple as we need to shift to, okay, you've got that pillar mastered. Now we have to work on one of the other 4 pillars. And maybe you're just great at all of it. But the mindset foundation, Valerie straight up said, who has a counselor, who has a mentor, who has a coach? Like, everybody in the audience, there was a few people who were like they were jumping up and down, and she's like, okay, this is a good group. Like, we're celebrating therapy. But sometimes that's the reality, that we have sometimes such serious self-sabotaging and mindset issues just from life. If we bring that to our goals and hopes and dreams in our network marketing business, some of those pillars won't ever be what we need them to be until we first go back and peel back the layers of, why do I have these, self-sabotaging thoughts? Why am I a pessimist? All of those things. So it all kind of came full circle. And then we've got almost 100 people on here, so I don't know if Alexa's on here or not, but I was at Super Saturday with one of my sweet senior rubies, Alexa, and so we were, right as we were leaving, I was like, okay, Alexa, do you have anybody that you've been talking to? And how can we go from here? And she's like, actually, there's this one gal, we've been having this conversation. I was like, let's start a conversation and just say, I'm so excited. I just finished with Super Saturday. We had some new things that got launched, and we talked about the share cart or whatever. Do you want to know? We walked into our hotel room. She started that conversation. We worked through it. 20 minutes later, she had a new VIP that enrolled with the share cart link. Like, literally an hour after Super Saturday. I was like, I feel so proud right now. She did it so good, and it was easy, like literally step by step by step. So that was super fun. So then I was like, well, now I'm going to have to want to go, have events all the time and hang out in hotel rooms with all of my team, so we can all just encourage each other and say who we're going to go send links to for a share cart. But that was a conversation that had been ongoing for months. And this was just the final follow-up that was one of the things Genevieve said. Don't be weird. Nobody go send in a message just saying, I have a share cart for you. We can't be weird about that. It has to be part of the process of, you've already done the work in building the relationship, talking about what their pain point needs and struggles are, and then being able to have this be the final, this is what I recommend. I'm going to build a cart for you and send it on over so we can get you started on your journey. I literally could talk for the whole hour, Jennifer, so I'm going to stop talking right there. That feels like a place that I can come up for air.
I mean, I've been writing this down because as I'm looking at the 4 pillars that all rest on mindset, and I think this is going to be really good for us. If you would just write all that down: recruiting, duplication, retention, and leadership. I started thinking about, what are the enemies of each of those? And how is it that we can address those enemies? So if you look at recruiting, if that's the area where you feel like you're really not shining, you really feel like you're weak in that area, some of the enemies of recruiting can be not really having a great social media presence. And that is something you can learn. It's a skill you can learn. It's probably tied in with mindset. There might be a part that says, I don't want to bother people, or nobody wants to hear what I have to say. So there's some issues there. Another part of recruiting that could have been an enemy that hopefully the share the cart is going to resolve is maybe it gets hard for somebody to finish the checkout process, or maybe they get confused, or maybe something happens. So the share your cart should be a huge resolution. I don't know if you saw Babette say in the chat, but she said she sent, I'm grabbing it real quick. Oh my gosh, it's so far back. I used the share the cart during Super Saturday and someone enrolled within 2 minutes. I mean, not Amazon, but really close, like 2 minutes, I'll take that. So that could be something to look at. If duplication or retention or leadership is your issue, start thinking about what the enemy of that could be. So think about retention. People don't like to be confused or overwhelmed. And so a lot of times you find people don't stay because maybe things are confusing. Maybe it's too much. So maybe we've given them like everything but the kitchen sink. Maybe they just need the simple. Go back to what Jean Tips said, our new CEO, be brilliant at the basics. Jessica Heffley, her biggest tool is on her team page in a regular way. She is constantly revisiting the basics all the time, getting to silver, making your first post. The simple ways, I saw today, Emily Roberts made the suggestion that when someone gets started on the products, she has them do an unboxing live of their next order. So by that time, they will have used the products for a full 30 days. And when that next order comes, they at least have been using them to have enough of a understanding to say, this is what I've been drinking. These are the capsules I've been taking. And they're doing this unboxing. That's brilliant to get somebody, you know, starting to share and doing something really scary. But of course, you're on supporting them. And then finally, Sarah, you said something I thought was really good, that being in the room with Alexa and watching her at work, and you're there to do some coaching, being in person with these events is exactly what we told you. We told you guys that being at an event is so important. So this is why I think convention needs to be on everybody's radar, and then maybe coming up intentionally with a time to do a powwow with your team while you're there to really talk through and do some takeaways, come up with some action items. I'm going to read you a couple of these different things that people wrote from the Nashville event. We had such a good time. And I don't know if you've ever heard Megan Malakovic speak, but she does a talk on visualization and dreaming that would absolutely just knock your socks off. I mean, I've heard mindset talks a million times, but every time she talks, I'm like, oh my goodness. She said this before I read this. Whenever you are inundated with thoughts, and all the time we are, I mean, your brain's constantly being given information. Just think about being a mom. You got your kids screaming, TV on, you have the laundry and the dishwasher beeping at the same time. Maybe the phone's ringing, you know, the dog's barking, all these things. If all that was coming in at the same time, we would just go crazy. We've learned how to tune things out. So the question is, how did the brain figure out what to tune out? And when she said this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's so true. The brain tunes out everything except for what it's used to thinking. Like you've already kind of programmed your brain to know what's important. And unfortunately, like some of the thoughts I have that I hate, my brain has somehow put them as the flagged or the starred thoughts. And that's what I'm letting in. And so that really gave me a real true reason to think about affirmations and think about thinking about other things, like almost retraining my brain to start thinking about new good things. Yeah, that's right. It's all with that neuroplasticity, all about rewriting pathways. So I thought that was amazing. Here we go. So someone wrote, their first action item is to reach out to all her level ones to do this with me. And I think that's really important because we've heard it before. Sometimes people will say, well, I just thought you didn't want to do it with me. Like they've never been invited to do this. It's kind of like, I figure if they saw the post or they saw I was doing it, they'd want to do it too, but being really intentional with asking. And then the thing that she felt was just for her was starting to say positive affirmations to herself. I'm going to read a couple more of these, and then I want us to practice making a share your cart if you haven't done that already. So funny, unrolling these pieces of paper. Okay. I'm making an immediate plan to give better customer care. And then what was meant just for me is change your thoughts, change your life, which is so true. I mean, I just can't get over how much our brain affects every bit of what we say and do. I'm going to do 3 more. All right. I'm going to identify limiting beliefs and how they, hold on. I'm identifying limiting beliefs and making a vision board. And then the message just for me is that I have to stop thinking that I'm bothering people. And that is such a hard one. Does anybody relate to feeling like you're bothering people with posts or messages or reaching out? Oh, it's the worst. Yeah, 100%. And the girl that shared about that was Meredith Brockleback. I never get her last name right. But she said that was her worry, that she was bothering people. And she thinks it's very common that people think that. She had to change her thought to, I have an opportunity to change people's lives. I can't remember the exact affirmation, but basically really making her brain believe that every time she shared Plexus with someone was an opportunity for them to have something beautiful and incredible come into their lives, that it would meet a need. We heard from Janina. She shared about how she was married to a drug addict and he was in and out of jail and she was put in dangerous situations and she almost had her car repossessed and she couldn't afford groceries. She just struggled so badly, couldn't even afford to pay her cell phone bill. And when she saw Donna Lee Robinson post that she had bought this huge overstuffed teddy bear from Costco, she said it wasn't a car, it wasn't a trip. She just said, I went to Costco and bought this ridiculously huge teddy bear for my child. She said, I wish that I could do that for my child. So it was something so small. And she realized, she's like, I feel like I'm the only person that joined Plexus for the business. But when she joined, it was for the money. And when she said this, I think we all need to hear it. She said, you getting somebody this opportunity could be the difference between them paying or buying their children groceries the last week of the month as they're waiting for their next paycheck and not. And wow, I mean, that is such an honor to be able to offer that.
Jennifer, can I add something to that?
Please.
So I see a lot of you saying like, that's your biggest block. Mine too. It seems like it's the one thing, right, that I'm missing in all of the really good things that I'm doing, but just, I think when I in my head have it as cold messaging, right? That's just such the negative term. And I was talking with Whitney, and so she had shared with me, she's like, Stacy, why aren't you thinking about it as inviting, that you're sending invitations to people to change their health, their happiness, their financial situation? And that has really been helpful to me. So I really have to get the word cold messaging out of my vocabulary and think about it as I'm sending an invitation to something that could really, truly be life-changing.
I like that, because an invitation is there's no negative connotation to that ever. And I will invite people to things all day long, but then suddenly when it becomes something that could benefit me, then you get into this whole conscience issue. You're like, am I just doing this to, it's interesting how our brain convinces us that this isn't right. Or do we have good motives? And we do, we have really good motives. And how thankful are we for the people that invited us? I don't think anything ill about Suzanne. I'm so grateful. Sarah, what were you going to say?
So I have to go find the link. Have you guys seen the newest Progressive commercial with Flo? It literally is Psychology 101. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this needs to be a training for our business, because Flo is trying to tell a new prospect, here's all the reasons why you need this insurance. And the lady was like, no, thank you. And then one of the other agents steps in and she was like, oh, it's all right. We're not going to talk about that vacation that you could be going on. And we sure as heck are not going to talk about the money that you're going to save that can go towards groceries and blah, blah, blah. So she reverse psychology explains everything and does that whole, it may or may not be for you, but let's take it away. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay, Flo, I'm in. What do I need to do? And she was like, okay, she's all yours. It literally is prospecting 101 with that kind of psychology in 30 seconds. So I'll have to go find it.
Okay, we need that. And I think we should put it on our team pages, because it's honestly exactly right. A couple more of these, and then I'm going to have a few of you guys volunteer to share. One of them, Cheryl Muller, shared her story, which if you haven't heard her story, it's amazing. It's so it's everything you'd want to hear. She was a CPA and she's like, and business professionals, they don't do network marketing, like all of these things that she had to overcome. And now she's sitting there at Diamond, which is amazing to me. But her belief is she doesn't want to make a living. She wants to make a life. And I thought that was so beautiful because she's literally living every bit of her dream. Her dream was for her daughter and her grandchildren to move to Tennessee. She had all of these dreams. And they've all come true. Now her daughter lives literally next door, her and her husband, their kids. They walk through the pasture field to go over to Cheryl's and make cookies with her. Like she is made a life. That's exactly what she's done. And Plexus has been the way that she's been able to do it. And thank goodness we have a company that we can count on. I mean, just look at the fact that what is it, 5 years now that we've been nominated as the best place to work in direct sales. That's huge. That is so huge. Okay. So, another thing that I read that I thought was really good is that happier people are more successful. And there's that quote that says, happiness is a choice. It's a repetitive choice. And that I think is something that we can all take to heart because we have to work at our happiness. It's not going to be a paycheck. I promise you that's going to make you feel happy. There is an actual job at hand to work on your happiness. And then a couple more I'm going to read. Let's see. Reach out to all of my former Plexus people with new information. Just tell them about the Share Your Cart. And let's do one more. And then if you'll put in the chat, if you're willing to share some things that were powerful for you or something you took away from Super Saturday, go ahead and do that and I'll call on you. I immediately plan to teach my team about Share Your Cart, to reach out to the business builders that I know I have. What spoke directly to me, let's see. Oh, she's talking about Sonia Dudley, which man, oh man, she does make such a huge difference in belief when she talks to people at the end of the meeting. I think she did this to you, Heather. She puts her hands like actually on your face like this, and she's talking to you and but you like it. That's the weirdest part of the whole thing. You enjoy it. You're like, this lady's touching me and looking deep in my eyes and I love it. Okay. So who would be willing to share? Let's see. And I do see some questions I'd like to talk to people about as well. Stacy, you already shared a little bit, but did you want to share any big takeaways? Or I know you're heading to Limitless, aren't you? When does that happen?
Sorry, my mouse stopped working. I'm leaving Thursday morning.
So what was your big takeaway?
So I am really excited about the Share Cart. Can I tell you my 2 hesitations and then you help me feel better?
I'll try.
Okay. One is I love getting people on the phone and walking them through and just making sure that it's done. And I have that little hesitation, right? But you're going to make me feel better that even though I'm filling up their cart and sending that link and it just seems like it's so simple, does that link just sit there? And then I have to keep following up.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's a good point.
So that's one thing. And I don't want to make this like, this is also exciting. And so I don't want to make it a downer, but that's just like right in my head was like, ooh, so I do all this and I get it sent out to them, but how long? So I want to come up with something that just basically says this link is good for 24 hours.
I was going to say, you need to put an end date because you need to say, I created a link especially for you and it's good for the next 24 hours. I even entered a coupon code. And
that will expire in 24 hours. You know, if you have questions, let me know. But other than that, get in there and do the thing. Okay.
Had somebody, I know you're going to tell me something, but have you ever had someone send you a link to be able to check out from another company? Okay.
I have not.
So I buy makeup from this girl, from a Saint girl, and she was trying to let me just tell you how wonderful it is. I sent her a picture of myself facing morning light. She immediately sends me back everything that I need. And then she said, and I'm thinking, okay, I guess I'm gonna have to go on the website and find all this stuff. She goes, I've already made your cart. All I need you to do is follow this link and check out. And I was like, I will kiss your face right now. It was the easiest thing ever. And that was 2 years ago. And I was so excited about that. And I wish we had that for us now, because think about it. When I tell someone you should get Hydrate, how do they know it's under the active lifestyle heading? Like, think about,
right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I have a Saint girl as well. And I was like, okay, I do need $250 of makeup. Like, I didn't even question her because she did my coloring and she was like, now you might not contour, but I promise you're gonna look gorgeous. And then there's a bronzer because I know we're going into winter. Like she literally upsold everything and had the cart. And I was like, okay. And I clicked it and she was like, now if you want to remove a few things, you can. And I didn't. She had it all perfect. So I think it works. My 2 cents on that is make sure you don't send the share a cart link until like all objections are handled and you know that
Correct.
they're ready to enroll.
Yes, and I plan on that. I hate to have it sit there for very long, especially if we're gonna put in one of our Super Saturday codes,
Yeah.
that we've got in that cart just for them. And so that was just kind of, I've been thinking about the verbiage. And my other question, I do have a question, and this is not a takeaway, but again, a question that came up is, if someone is a current VIP and this is their first person, we can make a cart from they can make an account from a VIP account. Is that correct? And then we upgrade them.
Ooh, I never even thought about that. Like
I had that happen last night, and I'll tell you, I couldn't find it. Well, I didn't look for the answer yet, but I just said to the person that was helping them, I'm like, just try it. Go into their VIP account, see if you're able to share a welcome pack link. Let's see what happens.
Yes.
She was able to do it. I'm just hoping that she can then get them upgraded to brand ambassador. So that is one I just wondered if anybody had the answer for.
There's no way they did not cover that base, knowing that, however many people, well, everyone comes in as a VIP and the majority of people
Right.
are, but that's a great point because I didn't think about that. Let us know how that turns out.
Okay.
I will also say too, which I do think we should get on the phone with people, but the vast majority of people are not getting on the phone with people for whatever reason. It could be, kids, life, hatred of the telephone, whatever it might be. And I wish that we could do it, but all I'm thinking is this share your cart might be married to your phone calls. And then for other people, it might be the perfect way to never have to get on the phone again, which is probably terrible. Tina, I know, is Tina on here? She does phone calls and has great success with that. Okay. I wanted to ask a question I saw here in the chat that I thought was really good. Let me go back. Someone asked a question like, does anyone else feel this way? And I'll find it.
Yeah. And I had a response to that too. Does anyone struggle with sharing their story, especially if it's life-changing, feeling like you would be bragging? Rebecca asked that.
Okay.
And I was looking for this quote that I have on a little sheet of paper. Of course, I can't find it, so I'm not going to quote it. I'm just going to paraphrase. It's something like, be brave enough to share your story, because your story could be life-changing for someone else. So I wouldn't ever think about it as bragging as much as you are sharing something that could truly change someone else's life.
And I think the next step of that is also the thought that I can't share because it might be perceived as bragging. I think that needs to be peeled back, because that will be back to somebody actually told you you're bragging and you created a thought about it. Like there's a core, there's something there that planted that seed. And until you can unwork and rework that thought and rewrite it, you will always have that as a self-sabotaging red light story, and be able to work through where you can share confidently from the right place. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That could be a whole other call.
Heather Langford, I saw that you said you would share some takeaways. Would you do that?
Hey, yeah. Okay. So I walked outside. I'm traveling home, so I look a hot mess, y'all. So it is what it is. But first thing is, so do the big thing scared. I walked into a room in Nashville of 200 people. I went by myself and I knew no one because Jen Leith was late. So I'm gonna call her out. I found, no lie. I went there and I was like, okay, I know Jen. I'll find Jen. And Jen wasn't there. And then I saw Catherine and I was like, oh my gosh, can I sit with you? So literally like one person of 200 people. It was so amazing. I did get to meet Sonia Dudley in person. If you've never met her, she is adorable. I love her. And yes, she literally grabbed my face and was like, look at me. And Jen Leith's standing beside me just laughing and kind of walks off. And I was like, you're supposed to be here for support. But my biggest thing is like, go into a room, and I just heard Emily Gibson say this on a coaching call. But like, go somewhere where you can learn, like, and grow and become a better person. So I went to Nashville knowing, yes, I'd get Super Saturday, but also all the extras that came along with it. The speakers, the Jules, were amazing.
Okay.
One of them said, be happy with where you are now, which I've heard over and over again. But she literally, and I don't remember who it was, it's written in my notes, but she literally said, if your happiness is going after a rank, then you're going to say, I'm only silver, but when I'm gold. And then you're going to hit gold, and you're going to say, yay, I'm gold. And then it's, but I'm not senior gold. And then it's, okay, I want to be senior gold. And then you're senior gold, and it's, yay, I'm senior gold, but I'm not ruby. So it's like this big roller coaster. So your happiness cannot be focused on a rank that you're achieving. You've got to be happy with right where you are. And that was truly like, I knew it 100%. Like, I'm ruby now. I hit ruby and I was so excited. But my next thing is, I'm like, I'm not senior ruby. I'm not emerald yet. Like, you can't do that. So you got to be happy with where you are right now. But go to your Jules, ask questions. They are people just like we are. I sat and talked to Jen. I went and met Sonia Dudley in person. I talked to Michelle Thomas. I went and had lunch with Laura on Sunday in Nashville. Like, do the scary things, y'all. It is so important.
I'm so proud of you, Heather. She drove 8.5 hours to come to the Super Saturday in Nashville. And I was late. It's a long story, but only by like 7 minutes. But anyways, she is a perfect example of someone getting out of their comfort zone and then being willing to accept and hear and receive and then process it. So this is going to probably go on for at least another week or so, where you guys are going to be thinking, am I going to actually do something with that information that I heard? I spoke at Super Saturday in New Jersey. I think it was my first time doing it. And a year later, I heard from Breanne Coolidge, who was working towards Diamond, that Super Saturday for her was what showed her she could do this. Now, wouldn't it be amazing if I said it had to be something I said? That was it. Like, I really got her good. No, because I also had people on my team there that quit Plexus after that. So it wasn't me, y'all. It's the actual power of being in a room, committing your time, valuable time, to learning and growing, treating yourself like a business professional that needs to be invested in. The act of doing an event is so powerful. So get yourself in a chair. Okay. And so I think in March, Sonia said we might do another one of these events at the same place. And I think if you could get yourself in that room, you should, because it was that good. I love that Nan hosted her first event. Let's see, get into the room where you can learn. Does anybody else want to share any takeaways from Super
I
Saturday?
wanted to share.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So I was in Nashville as well this weekend, and it was like, what I kept thinking is, I'm so glad that I came, because there's nothing like being in the room. And Sonia Dudley and all the diamonds that helped put this together for us, there was so much like gravy on top, to put it in Southern terms. I mean, it was like testimony and share. They just like bam, 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 more speakers coming up on the stage and sharing all this goodness. And for me, one of the things that stood out to me was invite people into your vision. And I was talking with my husband a little bit about, so what happened at Super Saturday. And it was like a moment that just clicked in my head. Like, I have shared the products, I've shared health, I've coached well, I have a beautiful team, but I haven't really focused on sharing the business. I haven't focused on asking people to post enough, or, all of those little baby steps that would help them to have friends do this with them. And so that is really what I took away from Super Saturday, the dream building and the vision building that Megan did with us, with all the dream boards that she had up on stage. It was just like, and then the reticular activator, like Jennifer's talking about, like if you go by a red Kia Sorento, you start seeing red Kia Sorentos on the road. And so what we do focus on really does grow. And so I'm praying for business builders daily in my daily morning prayers. And I know that as I am training that reticular activator, they're going to come in. I'm going to see people that I really do want to work with, and God's going to bring them. So
You phrased that so beautifully, because when we don't invite people into our vision, there's probably two reasons. One is we're afraid if they know it, that they will misunderstand your intention or your motives. Or the other one is you don't know your vision. And if that's the truth, we need to spend time really thinking about that. Like, what is the actual vision for what you're working towards? Because it is fun. I get a total high when I see people, like if I feel like I got the jacket or I got the boots or something like that. And that's a really fun, quick, like a dopamine squirt, it's like, yes, but that's not really your vision. So I just encourage all of you, based on what Darlene said, is really think about your vision and then inviting people into that. And what that looks like is, for example, if you get on a Zoom with your team and ask everyone to share like what their big, hairy, scary dreams are, that is such a powerful thing to do as a group. Let me read any more in the chat here before we move on. Okay. The one in Nashville, we're supposed to, I'll ask Sonia. And of course, the minute I know anything about it, I will let everybody in the Power Hour chat know about it. But Sonia's really good at doing mindset, she's really good at collaborating and bringing people in. So I would love to be able to do that again. And of course, using Gold School and Rubies on the Rise, like Sarah's saying. So let's finish up before we do the share your cart practice. Convention contest. So here's something that I still think is an enemy of success, and it is overcomplicating things. So when people are trying to plan to earn prizes and they're like, okay, I've got to enroll, I got to teach other people how to enroll, and then I got to keep them. Oh, and I got to make sure my PV is good. Oh, and then I got to help people rank up. When the contests are so multifaceted, it kind of makes you feel like multiple personality. It's kind of tricky. So what's beautiful about this contest is, just imagine you have two things you're thinking about. One is, I got to help people on my team earn the monthly incentives. Like, that's just, there you go. And it's easy. It's not going to change. Add 3 people. So, okay, when the boots come out, I got to tell them about it. Next month, whatever it is, I got to tell them about it. I got to help them imagine using whatever it is. I'm making this up. It's not a Vitamix, but like, let's just say it was. I'm going to send them the recipe of something they're going to make in the Vitamix. Like, every month you're focused on helping people earn that, and you're going to get credits. And then you also have to focus on bringing in 3 people yourself. So if I can help people earn their prize, because that will take care of their recruiting by focusing on the prize. And then if I focus on myself, making a plan, maybe I need a social media calendar. Tina Price put one in the Power Hour chat with ideas of what to post each day of the month. If you think, I don't really know what to post about. Guys, when we were there, Christy Barkley came and she shared her story. And for a minute, I got this weird, I almost felt like I was like my mother-in-law, like, this is like a lot of personal information that she was sharing. Like, I felt almost like it'd been so long since I've been in a room with someone just really laying it out on the line. She shared her story, and I feel like it's okay if we share that, because, people recorded it and put it on Facebook, but she had an almost successful attempt to end her life. And she was in a mental institution, and the things that she went through, she was sharing it. And I'm just sitting there like, I am here for this. Like, if we could speak into people's lives and we happen to earn prizes along the way, so be it. I hope you guys got that experience. If you haven't heard a testimony that just literally makes you want to tattoo plexus up and down your arms, you gotta hear a testimony like that as soon as humanly possible. So I want you guys to practice creating a cart and sharing the link. So it should be very easy to do. Once you've logged in, you're going to actually, there's a video on my team page if you haven't seen it. If you have instructions already written out, put it in the chat here. But I want everyone to make a cart and send a link to somebody and say, see, make sure this works. And then when you get a link, ask someone to send one to you. Just see what it looks like on your end. What does it look like when you click the link? Where does it take you? You might want to come up with some verbiage for yourself, because you'll notice at the top, it'll have the products in the cart, but at the bottom, it'll say, and your next subscription on whatever, February 17th will be, and it, you know how if you get a really big welcome pack, it still knocks your subscription down to the triplex. Do you know what I'm talking about? how it assigns that. There needs to be a conversation, letting them know, hey, this is what you're going to be getting now. And next month, we'll definitely talk before this ships, but it's already gotten you the triplex because we want to make sure you continue your results, but we can, modify that if we need to, but maybe come up with some verbiage. So let's practice doing the share your cart. Let's see if there's anything else before I press mute. Okay, so let's practice that and send a link and ask someone to send you a link so we all know how to do it. I'll see if I can't get the instructions from my team page and put them here in the chat too.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I am trying in my phone and in my computer to set up a new cart. And I've done this like 3 times, set up different carts for people. But today I'm having problems. It's going directly into my own subscription instead of setting up a new one. Is anyone having problems like that? Like it's like it's a glitch. And I've restarted my phone to see if it works and it's just not working.
So Tina's saying yes. Is anyone else running into that? Let me know if you are, and we can always get like a list of people and have Christy Alley look at it. But I know that I'm having a problem right now where a level 1's trying to order hydrate. And every time we add it to her cart and we go to check out, it disappears. It's like really weird. So here's what I'm thinking with the share your cart and what they're doing. I'm wondering if there's not some, like they're working on something right now in the background that we don't know and it's causing the glitches. So anybody
That's
else?
And also I tried to order for myself just the 3-pack or couple 3-packs of the new protein bars. And I've got one of those $10 coupons from Christmas and I tried putting that in and the coupon codes are not working.
I think they
So-
expired.
Huh?
I
No,
thought those expired December
No.
31st.
they say December 31st, 2023 on them.
Oh.
So if you look there,
You'll have to call customer service on that. But I was on call for quite a while with that whole issue with customer service because I've tried for 2 days to order through my account I was able to order like through Randy's account, no problem. But every time I tried to order anything, it kept saying it was putting it in my cart. Then it would say my cart was empty. So there is an issue. So if you keep having it, call customer service and they'll have somebody look at it, but there's definitely an issue. They had to place the order for me on the phone.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, because I have a girl that's waiting right now for me to send her a cart so she can check out. She's like, literally, she just out of the blue asked this morning, if you can get my order ready for me where all I have to do is click, I'll order. And so I'm trying to get this done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never had somebody verbatim say, do it, before I offered. So I'm like, of all the times for it not to work out.
Right. Well, hopefully, since they know that it's a problem, were you saying, Karen, that it was the products were disappearing from the cart?
They would disappear, then I'd go and add them, and all of a sudden I'd have 18 3-packs in my cart, but I could never get to where I could check out. And then I finally thought I could, and then I was trying to remove and edit, and it just went away. So there's something going on with the system that they're aware of. But something like the 3-pack that's going away tomorrow, you might have to call customer service and they can manually place the order for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was helpful. I'm glad that I'm not the only one, but how do I call for my level 1? I don't want to involve her in the drama.
Well, you're a Jewel. You should be able to call it for her.
I don't think they'll charge her card just because I want them to.
Oh, got it. Got it.
That'd be
I didn't
nice.
think about making an
Hey,
order.
every one of my level 1s wants to order $500 with the product. Could you please place that order?
Well, I've done is if I have trouble, if the other person's having trouble, just get their information and do it for them on your computer.
That's what I'm trying to do, and it's not doing it. It's not working
Okay.
on my
So
end.
when they pushed the big green button to, launch this, I think this is all of the, massive excitement, high volume on the website, things are getting diverted. So I have absolutely, zero doubt that Plexus is going to work on it. But my personal opinion is for each one of these, I know it's a pain, but even if you can just live chat, because it creates a paper trail for a number for, this was the issue we were like, if that order ever double processes or it's in question for a contest or whatever the case might be. I know we want to fix it for everyone, but just making sure that you do have some customer service, email response or live chat so that each of those situations you can deal with, but I'm sure it's going to get worked out.
Me too. It worked perfectly when I tried it during Super Saturday. I mean, to tell you, I made the link real quick, put everything in there that I told her she needed, fired it off. And I'm telling you, in 2 minutes, she sent me back a screenshot of her enrollment. So it worked perfectly. And I know it's going to work again. I'm just thinking it's a little bit of overwhelm.
Letitia, I see that you have your hand raised and I don't think Jennifer saw it. So you can just go ahead and unmute and speak. It's okay.
Yes, I created the share link and I uploaded incognito mode so I can see what the customer sees. But it says triplex at the bottom and says it's going to charge the card on February. It's supposed to do that.
Yeah, so it automatically creates a subscription for them. What was your welcome pack?
It was the bars, like the Smart Snacks mini 3-pack.
Okay, so so let's talk about that. If it's a welcome pack, usually the welcome pack will become their subscription in the future. Like if it was weight loss basics, then that would be what they would get the next month. But they have it set up now where if it's something unusual or maybe like a really big welcome pack, it defaults to the triplex as their subscription. And that might be something, especially since you're setting it up. Does it give you an option to change what the subscription would be? Do you see like
No, but what would be considered a welcome pack order? Like if this is a customer.
okay,
and I
So
want
it,
them-
so it would just be a new person within their first 30 days if they had not enrolled as a VIP with that welcome pack.
Right, so fresh new person, never enrolled.
Yes.
What would be, that would be the welcome pack. But what
There
would
are
be,
there's only specific preset welcome packs.
and what are those called?
There's a link under shop that says welcome packs, so you can click directly
it.
on that link.
it's the
Thank you.
cheapest anybody will ever get the products. Like it's a huge discount and it's like a privilege when you're just joining. And I think you have 30 days if you don't order it right away. Like if they just got the Smart Snack Minis. I think part of it is too, they're paying that $9.95 enrollment fee. And so it's like, let's just get them the welcome pack and they can add on the Smart Snack if they want or order it within 30 days. But yes, it does default to triplex as a future subscription order. So that might be something to pay attention to. Can we cancel a link? Kathy, I was wondering that kind of idea where if you make a link and it's never used, does it just eventually just go away or is it just useless? I don't know the answer to that. Does anyone else know that?
I don't, but I'm thinking, I was looking for the graphic for today's Monday motivation, but Genevieve said from stage that Monday motivation is supposed to be all things share a cart. So I'm hoping that that's going to clear up some of that and maybe the FAQs will work on that as well. And just to kind of piggyback on that, we had somebody who ordered, they wanted a custom combo that wasn't a welcome pack. So it's okay if somebody says, I want to order and here's the 4 products I want to order in a custom combo or whatever, let them order, but they still have 30 days. When they're loving those products, you can say, awesome, guess what? You're still within your 30-day window. You're loving your products. Let's get you that welcome pack at the cheapest price for their second order. There's nothing wrong with that. So that might be an avenue too. But Letitia, you can send stuff to me and we'll private message back and forth and kind of work through if you have any questions about that too.
Thank you, I just
You're
sent it.
welcome.
I'm trying to click on the welcome pack tab. I'll just.
Okay,
refresh my
perfect.
screen. It's
Okay.
not working.
Okay, I feel like we are IT testers right now because we're all using the share your cart to figure it out. So what I've seen is currently we cannot add products to the welcome pack through the share your cart, but that is something that they're working on. What they told us is that Alex Eldridge was at our Super Saturday and he said Plexus notoriously takes, I'm going to try to say this in the nicest way, is very conscientious and timely and very purposeful in their steps at resolving things, meaning sometimes it takes a little bit of time for things to happen. And he said, but Gene Tips, he don't play like that. He likes things to get done and get her done. He said, usually Plexus will have a meeting about a problem, and then they'll have another meeting about that meeting. And then they'll talk about the meeting, and then they'll meet about another meeting. He said, Gene, we have a meeting. We say, we think this could fix it. He goes, okay, good, go do that. So I have no doubt that any of the issues that we might be running into with the share your cart, number one, make sure that you're sending that into the live chat so that, just like Sarah said, there's a paper trail. And number two, that it will be resolved. So I loved recapping Super Saturday with you guys. I had such a good time. I hope you had such a good time. I hope you're all registered for convention. Like, please come. It's going to be so much fun. And if you have any goal less than winner's dinner for the convention contest, I'm going to find you and I'm going to Sonia Dudley your face because y'all, it's at the Wild Horse. And if you know Nashville, that is an iconic, hugely important space. Like the fact that we have the whole Wild Horse just for Plexus, like we're talking baller money. Okay. Like that's a big deal. So it's going to be the most fun. You have got to get to it. I think we looked at it and it was really actually reasonable what you'd have to do to earn it. And we only looked at it for our levels 1 and 2 activity, which feels a lot more easy to control. So make a plan, be responsible, teach other people how to do it. Make sure you're registered for convention. I just remembered that I registered. Remember when they had the special of it, register and you get 2 free tickets or something? Do you remember this? Wasn't it last convention that they announced it? I forgot. So I have 3 tickets to convention. So yeah, exactly. Okay. So any other thing that you have to share, any other questions, of course, use the Power Hour chat, use it for all the right reasons. And then I will see you guys on Thursday. Good to see you.